I'd wager I'm like a lot of you. I got my start in gaming on the NES. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. And one of my favorite things about my start in gaming with the NES is that they weren't afraid to run it back. It wasn't just a one and done. We didn't just get Super Mario Brothers and then out the door they went. No, we got Mario 2, we got Mario 3, we got Mega Man 1 through 6, we got 2 Star Tropic games, hell, we got 2 track and field games. I love sequels. Today we're looking at some of the best sequels on the NES. We're starting off with my personal favorite.
What can I say about Mega Man 2 that I've not said a million times in the past? It is not the best Mega Man game on the NES, but it is my personal favorite. This was the one that introduced me to my favorite video game character of the Blue Bomber. This is one I rented from the Apothecary in Westport, Massachusetts. My mom let me rent it. I brought it home. I was instantly transfixed by it. We went and bought it. Almost like that weekend, I think, before we even returned the game. We went and bought me a copy of it because I liked it so much. It is, to me, what is the epitome and perfection of platforming, of run-and-gun platforming specifically. It is just the best. I love this game. I love everything about it. There are other games in the Mega Man series that do it better. For instance, Mega Man 3, which will be on this video later on, is a better game than Mega Man 2. It introduces more mechanics that are things that we just find commonplace in Mega Mans now. But Mega Man 2, you dance with the one that brought you.
Real quick before we get back to the games, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video. But in order to show you the sponsor of today's video, I actually have to go down to the basement.
This is the flexispot V9 Plus, a 3-in-1 exercise bike that's part bike, part movable chair, and part standing desk. And one of the things I really enjoy about the V9 Plus is how easy it is to use. Not only does it have wheels that allow it to roll, which is like brilliant for an exercise bike, the desktop is also easy to slide back and forth just by unlocking the toggle on the front, and then the desktop itself can be raised and lowered via the hydraulic arm. And the same can be said about the seat as well, which I really like. And one of the things I find most impressive about the V9 Plus is how sturdy the bike is, while still being incredibly easy to assemble out of the package. All told, it took me probably 30 minutes to set the bike up and take it for a test ride. And with 8 levels of resistance, you're able to dial in the level of cardio you want to have for that particular session, simply by turning the knob on the base of the bike. Now, no joke, and obviously, I'm not a small dude, and that's 100% self-inflicted. I work a sedentary job. Coupled with my YouTube channel and hobby of playing video games, I really got to a point of malaise where I just wasn't pushing myself to be better. But now, whether I'm playing games on my Switch, editing videos for the channel on my laptop, or just popping the iPad onto the desktop to watch YouTube videos, I now have options towards getting into better health.
So thank you so much to flexispot for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to check out the link in the description below if you're at all curious about the bike. It's a great piece of equipment. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm hopeful for the lifestyle change that it's going to bring me. But now let's hop over back to the NES and look at some more sequels.
Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos, continues the adventures of Ryu Hayabusa, and it is magnificent. Like, the Ninja Gaiden series, anyway, is fantastic. Like, it's just a wonderfully difficult series of games, but this one just continues the great gameplay that we experienced in the first Ninja Gaiden and just pluses it and makes it better and refines things just a little bit to make this a worthy sequel of the incredible first game that we played. Now, like I said, it is still difficult. It is still incredibly hard. It does not pull any punches, but if you like a challenge, the Ninja Gaiden series, specifically this one here, Dark Sword of Chaos, is something that I encourage everyone to play. One of the best games on the NES as far as I'm concerned. I think it is a remarkable piece of technology and a remarkable video game from an 8-bit generation that would not be out of place were it released today. I was never a big fan of the original Double Dragon on the NES. I didn't think it played very well. So it took me a little while to pick up Double Dragon 2 because I just, like I said, I didn't like the first one. But the second one, oh my god, the second one is incredible. It fixes so many problems from the first one. First off, it plays incredibly well. It looks amazing. The controls are solid. The gameplay is wonderful. The storyline is great. Like, even the music is good. Like, it doesn't miss. Nothing misses. It can be argued that it's a little too easy, because it is significantly easier than the first one. So if you're looking for a challenge on the level of the first Double Dragon, you ain't going to find it here. But if you're looking for something that is the most well-rounded entry in the Double Dragon series, Double Dragon 2 is the one you need. Now, I'll freely admit, I actually prefer the original Star Tropics over Zoda's Revenge Star Tropics 2, but it's still a great game. And what Star Tropics 2 does incredibly well is that it improves in some areas over the first one. I do prefer the storyline in the first one, but this one is still good. And I like the changes that it makes by allowing you 8-direction movement in the game as opposed to just north, south, east, and west. You can actually move in diagonals, which is a huge improvement and a fantastic plus from the original Star Tropics. Like I said, it doesn't quite land as beautifully well as the first one did, because that first one to me was just kind of lightning in a bottle, and this one just kind of feels like a Pretender to the Throne, if I'm being honest with you, but I still love it, I still enjoy it, and it's still well worth playing because the Star Tropics series is amazing, and it's a shame that we only got 2 games in the franchise. Fingers crossed that if we ever get another Smash Brothers, Mike is a playable character. Man, you can't go wrong with any version of Pac-Man that's available on the NES, but for me, Pac-Mania is not only the best Pac-Man sequel, I personally think this is the best Pac-Man game. It is my favorite version of Pac-Man. This is such a wonderful interpretation of the arcade original as well, because it doesn't look as good, but man, does it play just as beautifully well as the arcade original of Pac-Mania. It is so much fun to play an isometric 3D version of Pac-Man. It includes a jump. You're able to jump over the ghosts. Like, that's amazing. It makes the game so much more fun. I absolutely love Pac-Mania. And this is one I don't think a lot of people pay attention to. Because, I mean, let's be honest, it's Pac-Man. People think they know what they're getting with Pac-Man, but I'm telling you, Pac-Mania, worth your time, well worth playing. I think the Commando series is a really fascinating franchise that is just kind of forgotten by Capcom, and the original on the NES is one I love. I really do enjoy that game. I think it's a wonderful kind of classic arcade experience, but Bionic Commando is so much better. Like, it's just such a great game. It does something incredibly different than any other platform on the console by taking the jump away from you. You are unable to jump. You have to use your grappling hook to move around. The map is something that you're able to traverse and kind of pick your poison of where you want to go. You have to find secrets in every level. It's just a fascinating game that really just diverts so far from the original Commando and sticks the landing. I like both of the G.I. Joe games on the NES, but I'm kind of predisposed to liking them because I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan. But the Atlantis Factor, I think, is the better of the two. I think you get more interesting Joes to play with. I think the level designs are better. I think the gameplay is solid. It's a very simple side-scrolling run-and-gun shooter, and it just works. Like, it's fun. The jumping is a little crazy because you're able to jump like the entire length of the screen with certain characters, which is fun but weird. And the different characters that you're able to use all play a little bit differently. So I think there's some really clever gameplay elements involved here as well. It's just a fun title. If you haven't played it, I urge you to do so because it's really easy to overlook this one due to the license, but it's a great game. I mean, it's Super Mario Bros. 3. It is probably the best sequel released on the NES. It's one of the most influential video games of all time. If you don't know Super Mario Bros. 3, hi, welcome to the hobby. You need to play this. It's part of your religion now. It's a perfect game. Like, Mario 3 is a perfect video game from top to bottom. Just play it. My personal favorite Ninja Turtles game is TMNT 2, the arcade game, which captured, to me, a perfect representation of the arcade original from Konami. Now, side by side, no, not even close. Of course, it's not a one-to-one, but it's a super fun game that I think is probably the most honest interpretation of the Turtles on the NES. A lot of people like the Manhattan Project. I don't particularly care for it, and I really don't like the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, but Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, I think is just a solid experience. It's a faithful representation of the arcade game while not being a one-to-one perfection of it, and I actually think it actually improves on it in some ways because the levels are longer in the NES version, so. I know a lot of people don't like this one, but for me, I love Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link because it was bold. It was daring. It wasn't something that I think anyone expected when it came to a Zelda sequel. When you have the original Zelda, which is a top-down action RPG, and all of a sudden you get what is essentially a side-scrolling platformer RPG starring Link, that's weird, that's wackadoo, and that is way out of left field, and I love it. I think it's a great game. I know a lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people have complaints about it, and all of your concerns and all of your hatred towards the title are completely warranted. I will not try to dissuade you from that opinion, but for me, I just love the way the game is laid out, and the style of gameplay that it has is something that brought me one of my favorite games of all time, Battle of Olympus. As promised, here is Mega Man 3, which I personally believe is the best Mega Man game on the NES. Now, that doesn't mean it's my favorite, but it does mean it's the best. I can't find any flaws with this game. I legitimately think it does so much incredibly well, and it introduces so much stuff into the series that is just paramount to the title's success to this day. This is the game that brought us Rush. This is the game that brought us the slide attack. It did so much so well with level design. The music is spectacular. The gameplay is challenging, but not so difficult that you're going to pull your hair out and not want to keep playing. The boss fights at the end, notwithstanding, in Wily Castle. I adore it. I absolutely love this game. Like I said, Mega Man 2 is my favorite Mega Man game. Mega Man 3 is the best one. Quality shmups were everywhere on the NES, and 1943 The Battle of Midway is one of the best. This is the sequel to 1942. It is just a magnificent, very simple horizontal shooter. You fly a plane, you shoot down the enemies, you fight bosses at the end of every level. There's not a whole lot of stuff that you can screw up with this format, and Capcom just crushed it. It's an absolutely wonderful title. It is a faithful interpretation of the arcade original. It is not a perfect one-to-one, obviously, because it isn't as powerful as the arcade machine, but the gameplay is there, the gameplay is solid, and it's incredibly fun. Shmups are magnificent on the NES. This is one of the best. Closing things out now with my personal favorite Mario game on the NES, much like Mega Man 2. While this is my favorite NES game for Mario, that does not mean it is the best. As I said, Super Mario Bros. 3 is perfect. Mario 2 is flawed. It is not a perfect game, but it is exciting, it is different, and it took what was potentially a terrible sequel in Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, because it would have just absolutely infuriated people had that released in the States. We took something that was incredibly different with Doki Doki Panic, and we put a Mario coat of paint on it and made something magical. We have characters that appeared in this game that are now canon to the Mario universe. We have abilities that were introduced in this game that are still seen in games today. It is magnificent. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to comment on this and say, it's not a Mario game. Shy Guy says differently. Princess Peach Floating says differently. Luigi's spaghetti legs with his jump and his flutter jump say differently. This game is absolutely Mario canon, and it's amazing.
There you have it, my friends, some of my favorite sequels on the NES. We ran it back, we looked at some classics. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite sequels are on the NES. Thank you again to flexispot for sponsoring today's video. Again, please be sure to check the link out in the description if you're curious about the bike. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a big thumbs up. The engagement helps the channel out. And if you're new here and you want to hang out, click subscribe. I'd love to have you stick around. Till next time, folks, I've been Jay. Appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Check out the link on screen right now where I hung out with some of my favorite YouTube creators. We talked about our favorite NES games. Till next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.